Hello, everyone. Welcome to Autodrome St-Eustache for Round 3 of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championships. Presented by ASM and Moto Nation. Brought to you by Dunlop, Drift, and Mopar Express Lane.
Mopar CSBK National Tour hits Autodrome St-Eustache, our final ever race at this venue that's hosted a lot of terrific sport.
So many of the riders from Quebec began their careers at this racetrack, and there's a certain amount of sadness in the paddock about this final race weekend here.
And I think it's good that we have a decent crowd and good weather, and things have been going pretty smoothly. Interesting thing about the Autodrome, very challenging track, no time to rest, hard to keep your rhythm, and we're sort of hitting the second half of the season when things get a little more complicated, and of course the pressure of the points race is paramount, and we've had a lot of interesting developments in this class.
Right, so of interest, you mentioned the crowd, Colin. We actually were a little bit late getting going because there was such a crowd, such a lineup coming in. We wanted to make sure that all the fans could catch the opening race, and of course we start off our races as always with the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class, and we're getting ready for this one, man. I'm all wound up for this one, Colin. This should be very, very exciting contest.
We're looking at the first three rows. Kazas gets pole. He's our defending twice champion, trying to make his way back after all kinds of problems at the Shannonville opener. Hornblower has been in control of the series. Mckay on his Kawasaki making serious inroads. So lots of interest championship-wise with 2 rounds down.
But truly, the story here today is Sebastian Tremblay. He's riding hurt. He has a broken collarbone from his mishap at Grand Bend. And he mentioned to me it doesn't hurt so much once I let the clutch out. But
I think broken collarbone, plated collarbone, right? He just had surgery. You can see him on the second row. He's just at the very edge of the frame there, and lots of interest in a guy who didn't ride very much coming into this because he's just had surgery.
Right. So Vincent Lapillon is right alongside him. As a matter of interest. Your front row, of course, is Tommy Kazas, Will Hornblower, and David Mckay. Mckay put in a terrific qualifying effort on the Mckay Kawasaki. 2
Yamahas, 3 Kawasaki's in those top 2 rows, and we're under starters' orders.
Pretty high wind here. We're looking right now at the Yamaha Laval starting lights. The lights are all on now. Field is away and running, and it looks like Kazas, I think, has got the jump, or has he? No, it's Mckay. No, it is Kazas. Mckay had a wheel in front of him there just for a moment.
Yeah, Mckay, I think, was just a little tentative, and Kazas a little more certain on the braking. Head through the S's the first time. We're on board with Hornblower, and now we go to Kazas, who has a nice little lead, given he's 4 turns into this race.
Yeah, I'd be giving about 6 or 8 bike lengths there. Mckay running in third spot as they head down the back straightaway for the first time. Tommy Kazas way off to rider's left, I think trying to avoid anybody drafting him perhaps, Colin?
Yeah, I think worried about the slipstream already. Now we've hit the dog leg in the middle of the oval, and Kazas riding either defensively or he missed his line through the oval.
And this area of the racetrack, very much like Grand Bend, as a matter of fact, is right in front, as you can see, of the main grandstand here. We're looking at David Mckay on the Mckay Kawasaki, and we were looking back from Tommy Kazas' bike, so Mckay's got a good handle on this.
So this is a big step for Mckay to be running at the front at St-Eustache. Steady progress last year and a bit, I guess, for Mckay. Grand Bend is his home track. He had a good result there after some difficulties in previous seasons, and now he's pushing Kazas. Of course, Kazas needs the win because he's trying to make up points.
Quite so. Mckay also, if you'll remember, came off a podium appearance at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and that got him fired up coming into the 2019 season. Tommy Kazas brings us around once more off the back straightaway and into the infield portion. We're looking back at the rest of the pack right now, and Kazas is starting to get some pretty serious distance here. Mckay keeping pace with him, and he also has left some distance, and I think I just saw Will Hornblower making a pass, moving up into third spot on the number 47 machine.
Yeah, so Hornblower of our front runners did not get a good start. He's now into third, but he's probably a second back after 2 laps, so that is not great. Of course, Hornblower, the points leader, has to be careful. He can't afford to get into trouble and have his points lead hurt too much.
Quite so. He won at Shannonville Motorsport Park, but that was kind of a gift to talk to his dad about that. As a matter of fact, his dad wants to see him win one outright. It was kind of a gift in that Tommy Kazas and Sebastian Tremblay got tagged up and took themselves out of it. Well,
and now I think we got to look at Hornblower, right? Because Mckay is maybe faded off a bit, and that we're on board with Kazas with a nice clear track in front of us. But if you look in the back of the shot, Mckay is starting to get a little pressure from Hornblower. Hornblower's caught him up pretty quick.
Yeah, and Tommy's getting away. Tommy has got some very serious distance here in this race, working lap 4 right now, and well, look at it.
Casas got pole, so picked up some bonus points there. Now he's looking for most laps led to try and help him in his march forward in the points. Now we're on board with Hornblower, so you've got a good view of Mckay in second, and Hornblower. Now we're looking at Hornblower from the back of Mckay's Kawasaki.
These drift cameras are amazing.
Yeah, Hornblower actually right on top of Mckay. Nice effort through the carousel at the far south end of the racetrack. Now they're on that back straight, slightly uphill, and then you have to cross the stock car oval.
Here
and look at this.
Hornblower. Oh, I thought he was going to take a run at him to Ryder's right heading into the infield. He's right on him. He is all over him right now, and he's obviously looking for a way by. He does not want to see Casas get that distance, and I'm sure it's a sense of frustration almost for Will Hornblower right now. Looks to the inside, onto the front straightaway. Not enough horsepower to get it done just yet.
Hornblower's changing up his line, looking for a way past Mckay. Mckay not completely consistent, maybe trying to figure out where his best pace is. Here you can see it was a little bit wide in that part of the track. And I know if you caught in the background, Frank, behind these two, there's about 6 bikes glued together battling.
That's a battle of Quebec, if you will. Sebastian Tremblay's wrapped up in that one as well. Vincent Lavillon and, if I'm not mistaken, Nicolas Meunier as well. A pack coming after them indeed.
There we
Here
go.
goes Hornblower. Hornblower to the inside has taken the race lead, stolen away from Casas.
A little hot in the brakes, a little tighter than he wanted to be, drifted across, but made it work.
That was
pretty nice move and pretty aggressive. And now I think what needs to happen is Mckay needs to go to school and have a look at how Hornblower made up that much time that quickly.
I think that was wishful thinking. My miscue on that one, Colin. I called that as him passing Casas. It was Mckay, in fact, that he had passed, and maybe next time the call will be him passing Casas.
Really great shot on board that Mckay Kawasaki. Now we're looking from second place back at Mckay, and Hornblower has a few bike lengths. We'll see what the trip through the carousel yields. This has been a good spot for Hornblower, and I'm sure in his mind he's going to try and go after Casas, but it's early in the race, and I think they're already a little too far back. Of course, our Dunlop slicks are fully warm now. Hornblower being a little bit more conservative in his tire choice than the other front runners. That could help him later in the race, but right now he seems to have handled Mckay for second.
This is a good spot. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Hornblower. He got the back end just hopping just a tad coming off the hairpin there. But a good position for Mckay to be in right now. He can go to school on Hornblower and pick up a few tips, I'm sure.
Heading through the S's there with Hornblower showing nice pace, and now we're on board with our second place bike, and you can just barely see Casas in the distance. There you can see him in the foreground.
Tommy, can you see me? He is gone already in this thing.
Well, we call him TV Tommy, but he's out of the shot.
Yeah. He's not getting any footage on this one as we follow Hornblower once more. Hornblower desperately trying to make up that distance, and really the first couple of laps have really put him back where he is right now. If he'd been able to get off the line properly and tag in with Casas, I think we would have been seeing a different race right now.
It's been a couple of years since Hornblower has ridden here, but he knows the track, and in some of our practice sessions he was bumping up into Superbike and running very strongly.
Sebastian Tremblay now on the 24 machine.
Fourth place, I think that's
Wow.
Louis Raff on the Honda in fifth. And quite a gaggle of guys running hard. I think this is on board with Tremblay.
It is.
So that's our fourth place Kawasaki. And actually, you can see Mckay in the distance. These guys are coming up on third place.
Yeah, you picked up that Turcotte Performance decal on the side of Sebastian's. Boy, I did not anticipate this. Sebastian Tremblay is riding hurt, and I figured he would try to do well, but I did not anticipate him doing this well.
And I don't know who all's in this group, but there's probably at least one or two other Turcotte bikes, because they have a lot of fast Kawasaki's in our series. Look at that. A nice move
Nice
there
pass.
for fifth, I guess.
I think that was Lavillon that... No, it wasn't. It was Desmarais.
Yeah, so our rookie pro from last year showing the kind of form we've been expecting. He's been marching steadily forward, and now he's on the tail of Tremblay. So these are two Kawasaki's in fourth and fifth, and we think they're starting to catch third place Mckay. On board now with Tremblay looking backward at Desmarais, who's starting to put some pressure on, and of course he knows that Tremblay's hurt.
Yeah. And that is, in fact, I'm going to correct the both of us on that. That is Meunier. Meunier on the 112 machine. Desmarais is in amongst that mix, I assure you, and so is Lavillon, the other Kawasaki rider on the Turcotte Kawasaki. So
you're right. These are all front-running French Canadians.
Exactly.
Almost all Kawasaki's except for Rafa's Honda. Wow, look
Hello,
at that
hello,
move there.
Meunier making some desperate. He looks to the inside there, but no room at all. Sebastian Tremblay guarding that line, but I can't help but wonder how long Sebastian's going to last in this.
We were mixed up about Desmarais, but of course Mckay is sort of our favorite to be the rookie pro this season. So interesting. Our top rookie pros are definitely coming from Quebec, and look at Mckay just pouring the pressure on Tremblay through the S's.
Yes, he is being very aggressive for a young pro, first year in the pro ranks, and earmarked for certainty for the Brooklyn Cycle Pro Rookie of the Year award, and he is all over Tremblay. What a great battle this is. One of the veterans
right on the white line, edge of the track there. That was a little exciting.
Tremblay is one of the veterans of Quebec racing, and well respected, almost like the godfather of the Quebec racers right now. So Mckay is definitely going to school on a good one.
And I think we've lost somebody, Frank. This was 5 guys, and now it's 4. So one of these 5 has had some kind of a problem.
We had a yellow flag up there at the final corner before coming out on the straightaway, and Tremblay trying to establish just a little bit of a cushion here. I'm sure he'd like to relax a bit.
Yeah, there's no cushion.
He's having a hard time. He explained to me a very hard time in his transitions, flipping from side to side. But
which is about all you do at this track.
Exactly. Yeah, you're on one side of the tire and then back on the other side. But so that pack of 5 has broken up a bit now, and Tremblay for now isn't being pressured.
Looking backwards from Tremblay's 4th place Kawasaki, one of the fastest bikes in the series, a bike that's led our first 2 races convincingly, and right now you saw Mckay in the foreground, so they are slowly inching their way up to 3rd. I don't know if they have the time.
Nice
and
shot.
Of course, if they keep racing each other, that makes it a little easier for Mckay.
Yeah, quite so. That was a beautiful shot from the drift camera mounted on the Shakers Kawasaki. Number 24, Sebastian Tremblay. He gets the back wheel off the ground just a bit going into turn 1 there. And here comes Mckay again. This kid is learning quickly.
Yeah, practically the first time we've really watched Mckay so far, because this is his first season, his 3rd weekend as a pro, and this is where you need to be, right? You need to be threatening some of the fast guys and showing you've got the pace. We know he has strong equipment, and we have a remarkable number of very fast Kawasaki's in the series right now.
Yeah, Mckay's in an ideal position. You know, he's under a tent that's got some very talented riders there, and obviously some very talented tuners as well.
On the brakes into the final turn that takes you back on the stock car oval, and Mckay's as close as he's ever been, and Tremblay, it's mind over matter, but that shoulder has to be hurting.
Tremblay's bike has got a bunch of grunt, I'll tell you that one. Coming out of that corner, he simply accelerated away from Mckay, and Mckay making up the distance right here and now on the brakes, and he did the same thing on the back straightaway.
Well, you have to be careful because you can only make up, so it looks great, but time, speed, distance are the factors that tell you if you're closer. Look at
They're
that.
Closing on Mckay.
Did pick up some time there for Mckay, and they have, in my opinion, Mckay is pushing Tremblay up to Mckay.
This is the race of the Kawasaki's once you get past Tommy Casas out front on the Yamaha. Stack up of 3 Kawasaki's.
There you can see on board with Tremblay, and we've got a good look. Don't forget that drift camera has a wide angle lens, so when you start to get close, suddenly the bike's much bigger, and really what's happening now we're on board with Mckay looking back to 4th and 5th, is that when they're that close, they're starting to get motivated, right? They're starting to believe they can catch him, and of course they're watching each other's pit boards, and maybe Mckay's thinking I need to look, which would be just the thing that motivates the guys behind.
You can bet your bottom dollar that the vast majority of the people in attendance here today are wishing desperately that Sebastian Tremblay can keep that motorcycle in 3rd place and at least maybe get a podium out of this. We all know that he's had a bad run of luck over the last little while, and it's time for a rebound, I would say, but I'm not sure if this is going to be the day for it, riding hurt as he is.
So we have 2 Ontario riders on Yamahas running away at the front. Mckay, who was very impressive at the start, has slowly been caught by this mob, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And Tremblay probably really would like not to be racing wheel to wheel, and he's just been pushed up into a battle of at least 3 bikes.
Yeah, and no doubt he's got in the back of his mind, whoever's behind me, don't
look at this. He is on top of Mckay heading into the carousel.
Has he got enough steam and strength and what have you to get the job done, though? I think Mckay may end up benefiting most out of this. Here we go. Now we're looking back at Sebastian Tremblay. He's on the move. He pulls up right alongside Mckay and blasts past him on that number 24 machine. That Turcotte performance, I told you, that thing's got grunt, Colin.
Yeah, and Mckay's Kawasaki is not slow. None of these three Kawasaki's are slow, but look, Tremblay in super hot that time.
And Meunier getting, I was going to say he looked like he'd been left adrift a little bit, but not quite so much at all, as Meunier now is distinctly in behind David Mckay and perhaps looking for a way by.
And I think our director has chosen to focus on this battle for third. I think the crowd is focused on this battle for
no
third.
No question about it.
Look at Tremblay spinning the tire of that 636cc Kawasaki. That thing does have some grunt.
Each and every time he comes out onto the front straightaway, you can hear the volume of the people in attendance here today. He is definitely the favored rider, no question about it. And unfortunately, I can't see him winning this thing, but he may well be able to pull off a podium finish.
On the brakes, crossing into the stock car oval, and look at this. That was on Mckay. That was Meunier having a really good look on a very daring, but look at this side by side.
Oh no, he's gone down. Oh, and into the hay bale. He's taken somebody with him as well. I think that was Lavillon that got dragged into that.
And Lavillon was having such a good race, like a big step for him. We haven't been talking about him, but he was doing great too. Now I believe we're back on board in, what position are we now?
I think we're on board right now with David Mckay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sorry. So that's a good call. So that is Mckay looking at third place Tremblay, and now we're back with our leader, Tommy Kazaz.
I'm going to have to play that one back in my mind. I believe what happened there was he lost the front end, and the rider coming up along the two riders right around the outside of him got dragged into the wall
and
at the same time.
There you can see people fixing some things on the wall there. Now we're on board, and let's have a look. And yeah, man. I think we're getting near the end of this one.
Final lap now on board with Tommy. No, this isn't Tommy Kazas. Was that? It was.
Yep,
he's up into traffic now already.
But it's going to be interesting. He has a pretty good lead. Traffic can be tricky here. This is a tight track. He may opt to just watch.
That'd be a wise idea. There's nothing to be gained by trying to split the lappers at this point in time. He's only got a couple more corners, and he's got this one in the bag. Meanwhile, we're trying to get a glimpse of Will Hornblower. I'm not sure how far adrift Hornblower ended up. We were watching that battle of the Kawasaki's and not quite sure, as I say, status of that. Now here comes Tommy Kazas, the champion. Final corner, the checkered flag is awaiting him just around the bend, and he puts it into a wee bit of a drift now, keeps his head down, racing the whole way into the checkered flag, and he's got one.
Yeah, and that is what you've got to call a well-judged victory. He's looking for his third straight title. It didn't start well at Shannonville, but he's coming back hard. He's cut into Hornblower's lead because he's taken those points for pole position and laps led, and a polished performance by the R6 rider, the Parts Canada Yamaha factory rider.
That's the Tommy Kazas of 2018. Rough start to the 2019 season. He wasn't that sharp at Grand Bend, and of course he crashed out at Shannonville. So,
and if you're wondering about the helmet, I think that's Deadpool.
Oh, is it indeed?
Tommy has been wearing those HJC superhero helmets. This weekend, it's Deadpool.
Right on.
So let's have a look there. Desmarais manages to salvage sixth after a pretty wild ride. Bauer, who was a star last time out, is seventh. From LeBranche, who's been marching steadily forward in his rookie season. Coelho and Cyr returning to the series. But now here's our top five. Kazaz well clear of Hornblower. Tremblay, what a remarkable ride. Yet another crazy race for him. Mckay salvages fourth, and Louis Rafa fifth on that Honda.
Now, let's have another look at this crash then, shall we? Oh yeah, lost the front end. No question about it.
So there's one angle. Now this is the reverse, and this will show you the tuck probably a little bit more. And I think what happened is at the last second, he just realizes he's not going to make it, but he actually gets hit by the rider behind him. This will actually show it a little better, I think. We're on board with Tremblay, and there he just washes it out. Almost got Mckay, but then you can see in the background, things get very busy.
Yeah, I was going to say Mckay was very fortunate indeed in that instance. So Meunier now, he brings it into the corner, tips it over to the left-hand side. We'll see if we can pick this up. Now there's Desmarais. Down goes Meunier, and Desmarais has nowhere to go but to push him into the airbags. There again.
There you can see it sliding. Now if you watch, you can actually see his airbag trigger on his suit. See that inflate as he's sliding? Happens very, very quickly, and that's one of the first times we've actually had the video to show.
Wow, congratulations, Shakers. Tell us about your race. You should have heard this place when you passed Mckay. It was unbelievable. Talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. At the start, these guys were going fast. And unfortunately, my transition are not really fast, unfortunately, this weekend because of my collarbone. But no, it was great to be able to do consistent fast lap and then catch up third place for about 4 to 5 laps to go. It was nice.
Will Hornblower, talk to us about your race. You had a bit of a lonely ride there for a while.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer. Didn't quite get the start I wanted. Ended up in 4th. Just kind of didn't get launched well, and then Sebastian got by me there too. So it was a bit of work to get by those guys. They were really hauling early on, and then kind of made my way through. Tommy already had a lead by that point, so I was really trying to pace him there. But you know, Tommy showed why he owns this place, and it was an awesome ride for him. I just try to keep my head down, try to keep focused, and try to maintain some grip.
Tommy, you went for a long ride by your own self. Have fun out there?
Yeah, Frank, that was the plan. Just get a good start, put my head down, and the boys kept the pressure on me, and I had to push a little harder and keep consistent lap times, and I was able to pull that gap and bring it home safely. The Yamaha R6 Parts Canada was running phenomenal, and the Dunlop tires just stuck the whole way around. So no, it was a good race, and I'm happy to be up here. And just a big shout out to these guys and Sebastian for a 3rd place with a broken collarbone. That's absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to him. And yeah, just I'd like to give a big thank you to everybody, to my whole team, man. They work so hard, and running 2 programs is a lot. So to be up here at making it work, big thank you to all of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, your podium. In 3rd spot, the shaker, Sebastian Tremblay. In 2nd spot, Will Hornblower. And your champion on top of the box, Thomas Casas.
Looking at our point standings with 3 down and 4 to go, and Hornblower is not even half a race in front. Good news is that he's heading to a track where he's shown lots of speed before, Atlantic Motorsport Park. Mckay doing very, very well in 2nd for Kawasaki. Kazaz marching steadily forward in 3rd, and we are looking for, I think, a crazy showdown in this class this year.
That suits me, and I'm sure all the fans as well. That wraps it up from Autodrome St-Eustache. Our next race, our next broadcast will be from the East Coast at Atlantic Motorsport Park near Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia, just north of Halifax. We'll talk to you then. This coverage of Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Racing has been presented by ASM and Moto Nation. Brought to you by Dunlop, Drift, and Mopar Express Lane.